All right, Mr. Show Only, episode 2 of The Last of Us. I'm going to let you take it away.
You know, I have never, well, I'm not going to say never, but I don't recall a show that I've seen in a long time that by episode 2, I am so into this. So far, each episode's been a story, a part of the story, a start and an end. And you told me, obviously, I know it's a video game, but to where you, at the end of episode 2, you started where you ended off, and now you ended that, it's gone. You're done that part of the story. I've never, I can't think of a show that's done something like this in a long time, if I've ever seen anything like it.
Well, it being a video game is part of that reason why it's structured that way.
And I love it.
Because it's kind of chapters. And,
yeah. That's the best way to put it. It is. But by the end of, this episode was 52 minutes. I felt complete after 52 minutes.
One of the changes that they made for the show, and this is pretty public, is the fact that they changed the mechanism in which the virus spreads. So in the game, it was spores. So it was airborne.
Okay,
so
I can see that.
It would have been a little bit harder to tell that story. Everyone's wearing masks. You can't make the connection to each character. It would probably break the immersion a little bit if you somehow couldn't keep that continuity and somehow someone didn't get infected and they were supposed to be because they were outside. It just gets messy.
But I like the way they did it.
Making
they
it just like
a little bit better.
Traditional zombies was a way to. I think it was a necessary change for the medium, and
appreciate
I like it.
Zombies.
And it was just it's an example of how you can change like something you're trying to adapt,
right,
and still be true to the source material. So all they did was change the aspect of how it's spread person to person,
and that's
that
not.
wasn't
I don't think
crucial
that's
to
really
the story,
no.
really.
And we're lucky to be the game. You played the game and I didn't.
Yeah.
We both still, I would assume you liked the show.
Oh, no, this is an amazing television show.
And you've played the game and I didn't. So, no story, even though you know the direction of the story
I got news for you. The episode 2, where Tess died, I was like, oh, shit, she did die.
I knew and me not playing the game, I knew something was wrong more than, spraying. I'm like, she was fighting off one or two of them. And we got this was the episode we got to see the first glimpse of a clicker.
And can we talk about just how suspenseful that scene was? I was on the edge of my seat. I thought I was there.
You're holding your breath. I'm sure I was.
No
noise, and then when they're.
That's how you do horror.
Yeah.
Okay? Everyone, take note. That's how you do it.
I don't know what.
When you started hearing their noise in the background for the first time.
You explained that in our last episode of us going over episode 1. You had expressed the noise to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I need to hear this. I want to hear it. And you said they got the same actors to do the noises. And I'm like, all right, I'm excited. I'm going to see it. I'm going to hear it the way it was heard in the video game.
Yep, exactly the same.
And I'm ready to see what this sound is. And it's a creepy noise.
Something else in the game, which I completely am here for, another change that I think makes the story better than the game, was the fact that fungus, cordyceps, is a mushroom. It has mycelium, and mycelium is like the roots of the mushroom, and all of it's connected. So when you step on a piece of the infection
that's living,
where they were outside the museum, inside the museum, then it gets replicated across I don't know how big the echo from that is.
They said
but it was large enough for all of those clickers to come running. I am so here for that change because it adds so much more to.
So that's not
the
in
moment
the
to moment. No, it's not.
So maybe that was the accommodation that they made for taking out the spore. They still had it to where it was they don't have to be there to know you're there.
Right. Yeah.
To give that same feel, that element of being infected. Now, if you step on a part of it, and Tess explained it to us because she said they can go up to a mile long.
So the largest living organism in the world is in some Oregon forest, and it's a mushroom. The mycelium underground spreads 800 hectares, and the sample.
What's a hectare?
Yeah, it's something larger than. I'm quoting this.
Don't ask this question. Sorry, I don't know.
I want to put the definition of a hectare up right here.
Sounds really big.
Yeah, it is. It's very large, and. If you take a sample from one place and go to another, they are the exact same sample. So the fact that it's one organism, the fact that this virus spreads that same way, they did their homework on how fungus works and the mechanism in which they employ. And
I love the scientific part of this show. Yeah. Now, obviously, this cordyceps doesn't affect humans yet. They're probably designing that. But I think that the science back, it's okay, because it does it in the animal kingdom.
Yeah.
So why we're just an animal and they just have to adapt to us, but it has no need yet.
There's so many times in history where you see a virus that only affects us like a cow, like mad cow disease.
Right.
And then it finds a way to bridge that gap to humans.
It'll grow and develop, and fungus, I believe, is smarter than viruses and bacteria.
So what did you think then about the intro? Because I loved it.
This
If they do this every episode, where right before the credits, they give you
was a whole story in itself.
Exactly.
I was sitting there. I thought we already started, and I was like, "Oh, why are they cutting to a black screen?" I'm like, "Oh my god, the credits!"
Yeah.
That was a great way, and I loved how they went and got some scientists that's the best at it. Loved her answer. There is no answer.
Yeah.
It was intense. And she just
Boom.
and you got to think when you're interviewing somebody like that, whether it's real or on that, and you watch somebody, it's like you ask the expert, "What can we do?" and they're just like, "Nothing."
Nothing. There is nothing.
There's nothing.
Do.
I was
thought that part to lead into the episode was such a good intro.
And then we're right up to where what I really like about this show also is it didn't waste time building us through the degradation of society.
Yeah.
It just took us, okay, it started, and here you are 20 years later, and I don't need that filler, because I'm going to assume that I'm going to fill that gap in with previous zombie experience, previous apocalypse knowledge, stuff like that, and it's like, oh, I don't need that filler. Now we're right into it. They've been existing for 20 years, society, and if I was there, the quarantine zone that they live in, if I was born in that, that's what I would like Ellie. Mm-hmm. She was born there. She knows no different, but she was struck in awe looking at Boston in its crumbling state.
What about the set design? In the hotel where she was playing, trying to get housekeeping, and it was flooded out. The set design in this show is so damn good. I see where the budget went.
They did their homework.
You know how some shows where the budget's high, they'll span this one big sprawling scene where the camera's drawing back, and they're like, "Look how much money we spent on this." This show does this as well,
right?
But then in the actual sets where the characters are, they are also equally in depth with the tiny little details.
I think that was a real pond or something that they developed. There's ducks in it, a frog playing the piano, and it was just. I hate that. I want to say this show is fantastic.
It is,
but right now, 2 episodes in, if it continues this trend, I don't know what out there, coming or prior, will beat this show. I don't understand.
Well, because you also love apocalypse shows,
right? This is right up my alley.
It's right up your alley, yeah.
And the budget, they spared no expense. Actors, set, and quality of shot, everything that you can put in this show. I'm glad, and I'm very happy it's on HBO. That means they can dance the line of outrageous and kind of weird, but they don't have to.
There's so many
options there
in this story where I'm wondering how far HBO will take it.
Because
there are several things coming up where it's damn, if HBO can get away with this, it's going to be brutal.
That's exciting, and I think
you know what I'm excited about? The fact that I finally get to be on the other side. You know how when we review a lot of anime,
you get to be
we're watching the show and we're relying on the audience to be fill us in because you read the manga,
right.
And I finally get to know what it's like to be one of those people and watch you enjoy it and just be like, yeah, I remember my first time too. Because
I want to play the game. I want to see what it's like.
You must do that,
but I'm not doing it until after the season because they don't give me a bridge till the next season. If the show is plays currently like the game does, this is the style I like now. I don't know if I like all the, it has the jump scares, it has the anticipation scares, it has all these things, and I know it's going to be in the game. And I know I'm going to have to probably play it dark lit room and kind of get into it. And then it's just going to be watching a horror movie.
You'll be surprised just how beautiful it is, though. Outside of
there's outside scenes in the show.
It's such
gorgeous.
A beautiful game. And it just got remastered for PS5. I might even have to let you borrow my PS5 just so you can get that experience. Because it is...
beautiful.
I'm going to replay part 1 as soon as the season's over. Perfect. I'm going to go replay it and then go right into part 2.
Then we can recap it.
I just want to get into The Last of Us as deep as I did 10 years ago.
I'm thrilled at this, and we're talking about this this show has been on for years.
Yep.
We are
2 episodes.
We are 2 hours and 20 minutes into this show. And this is where we sit with it. And
I'm
that was
so glad you're
episode
liking
2,
it.
man. I don't know.
I'm so glad you're liking it.
I love it. And I can't wait till Sunday.
I can't either. I look forward. I'm looking forward to this as much as I am Vinland Saga on Mondays. And for me to say that, this show is knocking it out the park.
Yeah.
I think the show could end up being better than the game. And I don't know
that.
I don't even know how that's possible because the game was a 10 out of 10 across the board. Unanimously, everyone just said it was one of the best games ever made. And how the show could even be better than that, it's incredible. So, we'll be back next week for episode 3. Can't wait. See ya.